Welcome to the Crawlcast. I'm your host, George Krawczak, and today we are looking at who is the best quarterback in the AFC South. We have CJ Stroud for the Texans, Trevor Lawrence for the Jaguars, Anthony Richardson for the Colts, and I have Will Levis for the Titans. The reason why it's Will Levis is because I think he will probably still be the starter this year. I think they want to bench Cam Ward and have him sit and learn for a year. And I think I've developed a good system on who is the best quarterback. So I have several categories, and we're going to be ranking them from number one to number four. And how it works in each of these categories, if you're number one, you get 3 points. Number two, you get 2 points. Number three, you get 1 point. And if you're number four, you get 0 points. And then at the end, we'll tally up all the points and see who the best quarterback is. And if you like this type of content, I'd greatly appreciate if you can hit that subscribe button. Now let's get started. So the first category is winning percentage. And number one is CJ Stroud, who is 19-13 at a 59.37% winning percentage. And number two is Anthony Richardson, who is 8-7 at a 53.33% winning percentage. At number three is Trevor Lawrence, who is 22-38, which is a 36.67% winning percentage. And at number four is Will Levis, who is 5-16, which is a 23.81% winning percentage. So being number one, CJ Stroud gets 3 points, Anthony Richardson gets 2 points, Trevor Lawrence gets 1 point, and Will Levis gets 0 points. The next category is yards per game. So CJ Stroud has 8,235 yards in 32 games, which averages out to 257.34 yards per game. At number two is Trevor Lawrence, who has 14,898 yards in 60 games, which averages out to 248.3 yards per game. And number three is Anthony Richardson, who has 3,026 yards in 15 games, which averages out to 201.73 yards per game. And then number four is Will Levis, who has 4,139 yards in 21 games, which averages out to 197.09 yards per game. So CJ Stroud gets 3 points for being in first, Trevor Lawrence gets 2 points for being in second, Anthony Richardson gets 1 point for being in third, and Will Levis gets 0 points from being in fourth. The next category is touchdowns per game. So CJ Stroud has 46 touchdowns in 32 games, which averages out to 1.43 touchdowns per game. Anthony Richardson is at number two, who has 21 touchdowns in 15 games, which averages out to 1.4 touchdowns per game. And number three is Trevor Lawrence, who has 83 touchdowns in 60 games, which averages out to 1.38 touchdowns per game. And number four is Will Levis, who has 22 touchdowns in 21 games, which averages out to 1.04 touchdowns per game. So number one is CJ Stroud, who gets 3 points. Number two is Anthony Richardson, who gets 2 points. Number three is Trevor Lawrence, who gets 1 point, and number four is Will Levis, who gets 0 points. The next category is turnovers per game. At number one is CJ Stroud, who has 31 turnovers in 32 games, which is 0.96 turnovers per game. And number two is Trevor Lawrence, who has 82 turnovers in 60 games, which is 1.36 turnovers per game. At number three is Will Levis, who has 33 turnovers in 21 games, which is 1.57 turnovers per game. And at number four is Anthony Richardson, who has 25 turnovers in 15 games, which is 1.66 turnovers per game. So at first place is CJ Stroud, who gets 3 points. In second place is Trevor Lawrence, who gets 2 points. At third place is Will Levis, who gets 1 point. And in fourth place is Anthony Richardson, who gets 0 points. The next category is completion percentage. At number one is CJ Stroud, who has a 63.5% completion percentage. And number two is Trevor Lawrence, who has a 63.3% completion percentage. And number three is Will Levis, who has a 61% completion percentage. And at number four is Anthony Richardson, who has a 50.6% completion percentage. So CJ Stroud is number one, so he gets 3 points. Trevor Lawrence is number two, so he gets 2 points. Will Levis is number three, so he gets 1 point. And Anthony Richardson is number four, so he gets 0 points. And then the last category is passer rating. CJ Stroud is number one at 93.7 passer rating. And number two is Trevor Lawrence with an 85 passer rating. And number three is Will Levis at a 82.7 passer rating. And at number 4 is Anthony Richardson, who has a 67.8 passer rating. So CJ Stroud being in first gets 3 points, Trevor Lawrence in second gets 2 points, Will Levis in third gets 1 point, and Anthony Richardson in fourth gets 0 points. So tallying all the results is CJ Stroud is number 1 with 18 points, Trevor Lawrence is number 2 with 10 points, Anthony Richardson is number 3 with 5 points, and Will Levis is number 4 with 3 points. So CJ Stroud is number 1, Trevor Lawrence is number 2, Anthony Richardson is number 3, and Will Levis is number 4. So let me know your thoughts on the system in the comments below. I'm going to do a big overall video ranking every single starting quarterback from worst to best using all these metrics in all these categories. And so that will be released shortly. And if you like this type of content, hit that subscribe button like it owes you money, and I'll see you on the next one.